Savage.
He wants you back, Dex. He's calling you back to the state of Florida, my guy.
Yeah, the sanity's coming back this way, and it's safer for kids. I got 3 kids in school.
Real talk, no filter on Savaged Unfiltered. Savaged.
Alrighty, guys. Welcome to the show here, guys. I'm your host, Savaged, here on another edition of Savage Unfiltered live here on X. And we got a guest here joining us here in a bit. He's kind of prepping some of his mic and I guess some of his video on his end. So don't go anywhere, guys, because we're going to be bringing this guy on from X here called Freemason. And I'd like to see what he's about. I've been kind of checking him out a little bit. Said he needs to come on to the show. And, hey, I'm all for it. You want to come on the show? Come on the show. Express yourself, right? Where's my freaking coffee at, Shaky? Oh, my God, man. I'm coming into the studio, guys. And we do these recordings in 2 different locations. One's on the East Coast, one's on the West Coast. I'm usually in the downtown Tampa area, or I'm in a little village called Cocoa, and that is literally right on the Space Coast. So today, I'm actually in Cocoa Village, Florida, guys, at our second studio location, and there was a little bit of traffic. I'm not going to lie. I kind of live like right in the middle of it, so I'm in Central Florida, and I either have to drive east over to Cocoa Village sometimes, or I have to drive west over to downtown Tampa. So usually there's no traffic whatsoever coming into Cocoa Village, into Brevard County here. And there was some traffic coming right off of the B line, which is known as the beach line there, 528, going into Titusville and Cocoa Beach, Cocoa Village there, if you guys are familiar, right kind of close and hugs a little bit of Cape Canaveral, right, Shaky? Yeah. I mean, Shaky was like, he's in my producer's window here right next to me, and he was like, damn it, man.
Savage.
When you don't want traffic, it pops right up to you, and it kind of bites you right in the ass. So I'm coming into the fucking parking lot here, and I'm like, damn it, man. Holy shit. What the hell is going on? So we had a little bit of traffic coming into the studio here, and I was like, damn it. I hope it I hope the traffic kind of holds up a little bit. But we see our guest here in the green room. I notice he's having some type of connection issues. He keeps on popping in and popping out. So you might want to leave and then come back in. I tell them all the time, Shaky, with these damn iPhones and Androids, please don't use them. There's lag. There's so much lag on their ends when they use these Androids and iPhones, and I hope that's not the case today. I hope you can have access to a laptop or computer, because it usually works the best. So yeah, as he comes in and comes out, I'm gonna have to have you guys. Oh boy, we're having issues left and right with him. Oh my goodness. So, anyways, yeah. So welcome to the show. Shaky telling me in my earpiece our guest has arrived, but something to do with his connection. I hope he's listening here, whether it's on our live stream here on X, or if he had heard some production notes from my end. Please use the laptop or desktop all the time. We always run into issues with that. But anyway, guys, we got a good show today. I want to say a couple of thank yous to a couple personalities here on Twitter with Charlene, and we got into what we discussed called Patriot Chat. And we got into a lot of discussions here with what's going on in the nation. And we were talking about informative information, but we were also trying to educate some people because we had this gentleman on, okay, that was claiming himself to be a Democrat. Literally came right into the space last night, said, I'm a Democrat. I voted Democratic leadership into office, but I'm not happy being a Democrat. So I got to listen to him and I got to, understand his background and everything. And I'm like, okay, I usually chime in and chime out in discussion. But I mean, he was like just literally coming in and saying, I'm a registered Democrat. I support the Democratic base, but I don't see I don't like what's going on with these radical Democrats. I mean, he even said it, radical Democrats, and this is coming from a registered Democrat, guys. And after hearing him, I'm like, I'm glad somebody chimed in because I was ready to just come in full force with him. And I was ready just to say, are you sure you're a registered Democrat? Because it doesn't sound like you're a registered Democrat. It more or less sounds a lot of conservative coming from your end. It sounds like you're more of a registered Republican, or you're leaning Republican. Because he got into principles, he got into personalities, and you don't really hear that from a Democratic supporter. You usually hear the total opposite. So I was kind of confused. I think we just experienced in Patriot Chat last night with Charlene and Jim Bob. So hat tip to both Charlene and Jim Bob there doing those Patriot Chat X Spaces for allowing me to come in, okay, and expressing my views and thoughts and everything else. And I think we just experienced the first, Democratic supporter trying to inch his way over to the Republican Party. And that's great. We need more people to wake up and understand what the hell's going on in this nation. We need people to understand, the informative information of what's going on, right? We need to wake people up, okay? And, if you guys are viewing us on X, I thank you very much. Get those comments in here. We'll plug them in. Producer Shaky, make sure you're looking for those comments. I want to plug them in as we get into it. But without further ado, I want to bring in my guest here. I'm going to try. It keeps on popping in, popping out. Buddy, I'm trying to get you in here, but it looks like you're broadcasting on your cell phone. So we'll see if we have some type of audio or video with you. Usually gives you a lot of lag when you use that. That's why we always say to our guests and people that come on to try to use a laptop or a desktop because it works the best. The cell phones, they create a lot of lag. Little different from X Spaces, the X Spaces can handle that, but this is a big time podcasting network. So we'll see if we can get you in here. But without further ado, let's bring him in, known as Freemason here. Welcome to the show. How's it going?
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. I'm gonna try to see if we can keep you in here, Freemason, because like I said, sometimes the cell phone, it creates a lot of lag, and right. Because of the frequency, they're trying to catch up. And between
I actually logged on through Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay. All right. Sounds good. Yeah, because we seen you, coming and going. So it might have been your data trying to keep up with it. So tell me here, you actually shot me a DM on X here, and I guess you've been checking out some of our content, some of the shows, and some of my presence, I guess maybe in some X Spaces. You reached out and said, I think you should bring me on your show. First and foremost, why is that? And what can you bring to the table here on Savage Unfiltered?
Well, the United States was founded with revolutionaries, and 9 of the signers of the Declaration of Independence were Freemasons. and 13
Right.
U.S. presidents were Freemasons as well. You know, and at the end of the day, like, we're all patriots here, and I think that we're on the precipice of really some form of new revolution that has to change. I'm sure you would agree if you're a Trump supporter. I mean, it's pretty dangerous out there. It's almost like there's a big uniparty, if you will, as opposed to the left or the right. And obviously, you know, people like Ron Paul and Rand Paul are Republicans for a reason, because we're not really ready for that third party big jump, you know. And as I'm sure you're aware, an RFK will steal votes from someone, you know, just like Ross Perot did. So oddly enough, I owe my success in construction management and even music to a freak encounter with Don Jr. My father passed away 2003 Christmas Eve. I was pissed drunk in the home office, hit my head on a shelf, and when I awoke, the Rolodex was open as none other than Don Jr. I called him up. I was 28. Who's better than me? I want to be a rapper or an entertainer. He's like, listen, man, I had 12 years. I had 12 years with Shell Oil, and I was a union carpenter for like 5 years. In fact, that summer I was working with my dad directly, and he called me back. And 2 months later, I was an assistant superintendent working for Trump World and HRH on the west side of New York City, and the rest is history. Come to through.
Yeah, I got a question. Like you said that you were in connection and communication with Don Jr. What was the conversation about? Like, what did you guys get into, if you don't mind me asking?
Basically, you know, my dad was a very renowned general superintendent with them. And, you know, I saw it at my age then, it was an opportunity. I mean, how do you thread a needle that thin, right?
Michael,
basically, like, look, I can help you with placements. They love my father.
Spotify.
Of course, this is my dad passed. He has no clue what I accomplished since then. And in many ways, I've surpassed his career success. But it went, look, this is what you got to follow. You got to basically apprentice yourself. You know, for instance, I'm a carpenter. Now I know all the trades. But you can imagine in the first 2 years as a super, I couldn't speak proficiently with the electrical trade or the tin knocker. So I had to go learn that stuff. And I would show up, even to this day, at this hospital in Mount Sinai. I'm a general contractor here running like 4 different projects. I'm here every day by 5:30. It means getting up at 4:30. So he helped instill. I already had the ethic, but I knew I couldn't fumble the shot that I was given. So it was like, this is what you can do. This is what I can help. At the time, it was mostly all union work. So you have these jobs that are called project labor agreements where, you know, you can have prevailing wage guys and union shops. And the general contractor, and at that time, Trump World, it was their job to supervise that, manage it, you know, put bids and contracts together. So basically, he showed me how to navigate that. And then from there, my career just blossomed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm checking out some of your stuff there. I mean, wow. So you've been kind of all over the place, you know, talking to Don Jr. and everything else. I want to get into a little bit of what we're seeing here. You know, if I kind of opened up the show with a lot of this radicalization we're seeing in the country, and folks. We're seeing humongous amounts of radicalization. We're seeing division. We're seeing corruption. We're seeing manipulation on extreme levels. And I've discussed this in many spaces, Freemason, with these X spaces. We're seeing a lot of people somewhat, you know, crying out towards the left. I just brought it up in my discussion here in the beginning of the episode. I was talking to a gentleman just last night in an X space, a registered Democrat, crying out, knowing of what his own party is doing, basically going into the old form of the Democratic Party of, you know, the old JFK days, and now admitting that this is not the same party of JFK. This is a total radicalization of the Democratic Party. They've went so left to like literally just, you know, bombard Americans. Your thoughts on that?
Well, it's, you know, I have a very practical and pragmatic approach to that. First of all, the classic liberal is all but dead, right? That blue-collar Democrat, which most of the unions think they are, but they're not. The far left, it has been infiltrated by communism over the last, really since the end of World War II. Yeah. And what people don't put into perspective, you know, both us and Russia, you know, we took scientists from Germany, and both of us proliferated space. When Sputnik went up, we thought we were under nuclear attack. But having said that, that neo-fascism, that communist, that socialistic thing, it's really all the same. And so what's happened here is they've crept their way into the colleges. They've crept their way into the 4 or 5 big defense contractors. And one of them I used to work for, I can't name, but I was involved with the Denver International Airport from 94 to 97, coring underground. And when you're on that kind of scale of a project, everything's compartmentalized. And that's the problem. A and B don't necessarily know what C is doing. And our system of government, what we call a republic, really is just a facade of that, because it's the 3-letter agencies empowered by these 5 or 6 big Titan corporations who all have the same rights you and I do. And that's the charade. That's who's running things. I mean, this guy almost fell today at the D-Day, commencement. I mean, it's absolutely embarrassing. So in my opinion,
you're talking about Joe Biden, right?
Yeah. In my opinion,
that was. I mean, we have. I hate to chime in, but we have a literally an incompetent president. I mean, literally, he's showing no forms of intelligence on his behalf. The guy is a crippled old man, and I'm not trying to bash the guy. I'm not trying to bash our president, folks. But if we have a man getting to that level of dementia and Alzheimer's at extreme levels, how the hell is he able to pull the command if there was basically an attack on our nation? Yeah. How would he orchestrate our military in defense?
Well, look at it like this too. Right now, you have China cutting off Taiwan, right? I mean, a dead fucking Ray Charles, pardon my French, could see this type of strategy, but yet they don't. It's because they're infected by the far left, right? The Chinese and the communists are playing a long grab. They don't care if it's 100 years until they have power, because within that 100, everything empirically changes, right? So for an example, Russia is pushing back because, we keep expanding with NATO. There's a whole plan drafted up, and I'm not going to say what my sources are. You've probably seen it tweeted out recently. But there's a whole plan to put American troops on that front to basically sort of Putin, hey, look, don't do anything more. But at the end of the day, they're the same coin, just the opposite side. They're just different types of Marxists here, right? And that 25th Amendment really could possibly be invoked. I mean, if you think about it, what would happen if China did in fact take Taiwan like 2 days before the election? The man has the power to declare martial law, which a lot of people don't realize. Ever since the first George Bush, if you read Behold the Pale Horse with Milton William Cooper, which, by the way, was why I became a Freemason and I met him personally, but they drafted a proposition that enabled everything from Hurricane Sandy and the 9/11 attack, that Patriot Act. All that stuff was already discussed long before that, and all these trilateral commission style think tanks for the decade previous. So the plan is, no matter what, believe me, the government, that black hand, if you will operate no matter what. But our enemies, they know this about us, right? And so they know that the image that he portrays is very weak. And by the way, I don't know how much you are into the UAPs and UFOs and stuff, but United States president, you cannot just go to Area 51. You have to give him like a week's notice. I mean, the type of technology that they are. The president
wait. Hold the phone. You're telling me that the president of the United States has to basically put a reservation and appointment time on his behalf?
Yep. If you follow Dr. Stephen Greer, Dr. Stephen Greer from CSETI, he's a world-renowned ufologist. He's briefed like 6 different presidents, and all of them come away with the same consensus that basically we reverse engineered certain technology, including element 115, which, by the way, was added to the periodic chart within the last 15 years. And when Bob Lazar was talking about it, everybody said he was a nut job. And you should check out that Netflix documentary.
I'm going to check it out. I wasn't aware of that. That the president would have to be basically briefed in just to make it an appearance at Area 51. I mean, he's the president of the United States, for God's sake. He's entitled to see what he wants to see over there. Yeah. And then the other thing I can speak to a little, when we were coring out in the West, the reason, because Tesla has an idea, they want to make these tunnels
and go right across to to California from the East Coast. And that could never happen because there's so many deep bunkers already there that have been built up over the last 80 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying. I want to touch on this just the other day. Betty Johnson here on X basically put this out. What do you see among African American men in this election? 50 Cent kind of weighed in and said, I see them identifying with Trump. A reporter then weighed in. Oh, yeah, listen to this. The reporter then weighed in. Why do you say that? 50 Cent goes, because they got RICO charges. We're so back. I mean, what's your thoughts on that, man?
Well, so ironically enough, I was forced to do construction to pay for my music career, you understand? Which wasn't real yet. So over the last 20 years, I've now brought to fruition this music career. I play Rick Ross's bodyguard in 600 Bends with Wale and Jadakiss. I have a record label in my band, Bigfoot is Real, is an all-genre band that I built up over the last decade. We got songs with Wyclef. I got one coming out with Rohan Marley, one of Bob Marley's sons. But the black community, especially you saw that rally up here in the Bronx, that neighborhood is Castle Hill Soundview. It's one of the most crime-ridden neighborhoods in all of New York City. Yet you saw at least 30, 40,000 people come out in full support. Here's a guy talking about law and order and the people are supporting him. Black people, I found, and I don't want to sound like I'm speaking for them because a lot of times they hate that when you speak for them and we're white. But I come from a 1%. My dad was a 1% and my mom was a drug addict. So I lived the same way, with being very poor until my dad won custody. Most of the blacks that I know, American blacks, they're more as conservative as you and I. If they showed up late for Sunday dinner, they got their ass whooped by their grandmother. They didn't show up for church. So all the same tenets that we share as conservatives, they also share. It's just that what's portrayed is that lower 2 to 5% of the trash, the same way in any culture, right? And then they get labeled and stereotyped. And in fact, my artist, the guy, my lead singer, when I met him, the first time I saw him on a live, his whole face is tattooed. And I'm like, oh, man, this guy's a redneck Post Malone. Turned him off, right? The next night I hear the music, and then I saw his face, and I stereotyped him just because of how I viewed what he looked like. So stereotypes are there to some extent, but they're going to vote very, very heavy Trump this election. I'm convinced of it. People I know personally.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that Bronx rally. I'm getting a lot of people here, especially on social media, when you post those little clips about the Bronx rally there with Trump and the presence there. A lot of people are saying that Trump paid a lot of those black people to show up. Do you agree with that at all or no? Because I don't. I think people are coming out. Yeah, hold that thought. I think people are coming out because people are fed up. They're fed up of what New York is basically presenting to the people there in New York City, and they're fed up with these illegals poured in at historic numbers, and they're pushing back. Applaud to them, right? I mean, they're fed up. They're fucking pissed off, man. They want their fucking city back. Yeah.
Look, Reagan won New York. It wouldn't take much. Long Island is pretty much locked in. It's all red. Upstate New York is locked in. It's mostly red. It really is just this 2.5-4 mile area of Manhattan. And first of all the rappers there I know personally. Those are very real people. Some of them right from that neighborhood. That councilman that spoke, that was the pastor, the one who called out what's her name, AOC, for being a false prophet. He is one of the most powerful ex-councilmen in all of the boroughs. It's like when you're too close to it, you can't see it. And if you're too far away, you're completely obtuse. And that's where the Democrats are right now. They cannot see ahead of themselves. And I mean, listen, this guy is shot. This guy Biden. There's no way he can win. And I'm not one that wants to always run on the pretense of polls, but the polls are way up. And I don't see
I was just checking out some polls. Yeah, I was just checking out some polls with these battleground states. I mean, he's leading right now in Georgia. Wow, what a flip around with that, right? He's leading in Pennsylvania. He's leading in, I believe, Wisconsin. The only state I believe that he's not doing so well is Michigan. The shift is over towards Biden. We have to get get it over towards Trump. But I mean, out of all those battleground states, I just checked the numbers yesterday. He's leading in 4 battleground states out of, I believe, 5. So that's impressive.
And if he means, and then the other thing is this: I don't know how much you know about Florida, but I go down and I freshwater bass fish. That's my passion. And Florida bass are the biggest strain of bass in the world. But so whoever told Ron DeSantis to run was ridiculous, because that state is really a purple state. It's only conservative now because he's won and he's changed up things, and he definitely shined during the pandemic. But that state could easily become Democratic, and look at the people that would have won. And so, it's very scary times when you look at it. So as long as Florida is in the race, gentlemen, how are you? As long as Florida is still in the race, for Trump, and you can get 5 of these states, I think we're sitting pretty good.
Yeah, I think so too. Bear with me, Freemason. I got to get a quick break in, guys. You're listening to Freemason is a big media personality here on X and surrounding platforms. So I applaud him for coming on, guys. I want to say thank you to a couple of sponsors we have here on the show. Big sponsor out of Florida, Monkey Colt Coffee Company. That's right, guys. Had the opportunity to speak to the CEO himself there, Matt Zion. So hat tip to you, Matt, doing tremendous things here with this company. Boozy Coffee, guys, is just better. Scan this QR code and use code SAVAGED for exclusive deals on your next order. You're going to be really impressed, guys. It basically gives you just a boost of energy with this coffee. They infuse all their coffee with alcohol and liquor of products. I was blown away. Shaky listening to me, and he's in the booth here, and he's like, Jesus Christ, I was blown away too. I mean, great company. So thank you very much, Matt Zions, for coming on the show, sharing your story, because he has somewhat of a story here that's basically leading up to why he started the company. So thank you very much. Scan the QR code today, guys, and you're really going to be impressed. Thank you also to Progressive Insurance. That's right, guys. Better insurance starts here. 4 out of 5 new consumers are now recommending Progressive, and rightfully so. They've been partnered here with the show for about 3 months, so I thank them very much for coming over. Scan the QR code today, and you're going to be amazed by some of their new policies that are bringing into the company. Really good stuff. I want to discuss a little bit more here about what we're seeing, with the difference between Biden and Trump. A lot of people are just, they're still brainwashed. They're still manipulated with this entire administration. The administration is just, there's no message behind them. And I think they know that. And they continue to peddle and they continue to bash former President Trump on a lot of things that supposedly he didn't do during his administration, right? Which I thought was, he done wonders, really. Should I call you Freemason or Brendan? I don't know what you want to go by, but
either or, it doesn't matter.
All right. Well, I'm going to call you Freemason because I think you're known to the Twitter world as Freemason, right? The X world, Freemason. Yeah. I do have my co-host here, Joseph M. Leonard from Detroit. He does come in from time to time. He's also aligned with Wham Radio and Maverick News up there in Canada. I want to bring Joseph in. Joseph, this is a gentleman that is catching a lot of attention on Twitter. He works with a lot of different types of artists, rappers, and I guess you could say the tri-state area, right, Freemason?
Pretty much international, really. Like, we're doing like international EDM too. Like the band, when we do our set, it's rock music. So when you hear it on the radio, it sounds like EDM and pop. So it's really the first of a kind. I guess you could liken it maybe to the Gorillas, except that no one knows who they are, really.
Yeah, I hear you. Let me bring in Joseph, guys. Welcome in, Joseph. How's it going, buddy? I can't hear you, Joseph. You gotta fix your damn ear. But Joe Joseph sometimes messes up his earbuds. But yeah, 1 second. You there, Joseph? I don't think we have Joseph. We have Joseph, Jake. Okay. We'll wait for Joseph to come in. But yeah, I mean, I understand. Well, sorry about that. Joseph probably forgot to sync in his headset. But I mean, I get what you're saying. You know, with everything. Let's talk a little bit about kind of shifting the gears a little bit as Joseph comes into the conversation with Marjorie Taylor Greene the other day. Literally enraged with some of her words, right? She was firing back against her own party, saying that you have Republicans right now that are not pushing back enough. And I agree with that. I really do. I do agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yes, she's a little bit, neurotic sometimes with her words, but I think her words spoke very, very loudly and clearly just the other day. We need to push back because if we don't push back, we're going to go off the fucking cliff. I mean, she didn't say that, but she used a lot of vocabulary in her wording. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, my thing is this: I'm a strategist, right? So, when Gates and these guys first ousted, the other speaker, McCarthy, at the end of the day, you do need to have decorum. In my opinion, they should have done all that in private. And because, if you lose the House, and as well as I, is every presidency that comes in, they either lose one or the other, sometimes both. And we're just a couple votes away from losing the House. So for me, and she's every right to speak the way she does because she's arguably speaking for us. And I mean that across all states because that people are angry. But if you expose your hand so much that these Democrats, what they do better is they corral and stick together, no matter how wrong or right they are. And I just think you should have a better plan for the what if we were to oust Johnson, let's say. But what she spoke to the people sitting there on the dais is absolutely correct. People are outraged. I mean, Johnson and also in the Senate, they have the power, the bully pulpit, to really force this down the right path so that when Trump comes in, he can clean house. And I mean that in every sense of the word. He has to fire literally everybody. He has to do what Elon did with X. Because unfortunately, he got pushed into these admin lackeys that are always leftovers, like the Kissinger mindset. Has always been around. There's always been that hands-on, still there mentality. And they tried to manipulate this guy. Some of his choices, I can tell you, from doing Trump projects, Trump's an incredible leader, but he has a laissez-faire to him. And sometimes people read that wrong. This is why there's been so many optics of people fucking him over, like Omarosa. You can go on and on. I mean, endless amount. Scarangelli, whatever, Scaramucci, Michael Cohen. I was on a Trump bill in 2006, and with Michael Cohen, Pete Palazzo, who's with Louis Capelli, and Matt Calamari, who was the security guy from The Apprentice. And people could just, if someone walked up to Trump and started talking to him, he embraces that. And that's a great thing. But you also have to know how to distance yourself and pick your leadership, So this time around, and he said it publicly, that he's learned his lessons, quite frankly.
Yeah, I want to touch on. It looks like we have Joe back in the conversation. So 1 second, Joe, I'll bring you in. I want to talk about some of these House Republicans basically trying to issue criminal referrals for Joe and Hunter themselves. Do you see that going forward a little bit, Freemason, with them obviously bringing in some type of criminal investigation finally towards Joe Biden and Hunter Biden at all?
Yes.
I think you might see Jim and Hunter charged if this case goes wrong for Hunter, the one that he's in now. And we need something because, I have a friend of mine, his name is Vinny. He's part of the American Mission on Twitter, on X rather, and he was in the trial. He's there today actually too. And he said that the defense is just in shambles. Everything that they try to disclose and prove that Hunter was in the right, the prosecution obliterates them. For instance, the guy Gordon that sold the gun, they tried to paint him as someone who forced his 38 Colt on him. No, we upgraded you because what you wanted to buy is not for self-defense. And the speed loader, you need it. If anyone ever shot a revolver and you're in a real firefight, you need the speed loader. So this guy evidently was a gunsmith and a salesman. And so the defense was trying to paint it as maybe even he filled out the paperwork. But meanwhile, there's 3 different types of ink on the paperwork that was filed for the background check. And the reason that gun shop does that is so they know which entity did which. So for everything that they tried to say, that Biden was okay with, really they got hammered. So if the jury's picked right there, this could go pretty bad for Hunter.
Yeah. I mean, but I'm going to be completely honest with you. Okay. I do believe that they're going to try to once again tuck this under the rug. I noticed that there was just an individual. I'm guessing it was a former girlfriend of Hunter Biden testifying on this. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
This was just the other day.
Yeah. Yep. Well, this is the other thing to keep in mind. On the federal level, there's what we call voir dire, that's jury selection. The judge picks it. He gets a pool of jurors, and then both sides dissect it. In New York with Trump, the voir dire is completely picked by the defense and the prosecution counsel. And of course, that was all set up. I mean, you can see that a mile away. But on the federal level, they seem to be taking this pretty serious from what we're seeing with our people that are covering the events there. But like you said, it wouldn't be a far-fetched for it to get swept under the rug. And at the end of the day, it is Biden's justice system, DOJ. So, who knows? But, man, something has to give because the optics of it are really bad.
Yeah, something has to give, like you said. I do want to bring in our political analysis here of what I like to call him here on Savage Unfiltered because the guy is political 101. Guys, this is Joseph M. Leonard. I think we do have his audio here working now. Joseph, welcome into the conversation, pal. How's it going?
Okay, can you hear me this time?
Yeah, we could hear you. Yeah. The headset wasn't working. We had to go old school formula. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to return another doggone headset. Well, I don't know what the issue with these headsets are, but they keep dying after a few months. It's ridiculous. Anyway,
yeah, Joseph, you're. Yeah.
But first,
go ahead, Joseph.
But first, since I'm Joe Tringo, you've been talking serious, so I got to bring that levity. First, it's nice that he's Freemason. I'm known as relatively inexpensive Joe, but I'm not free. You don't get me for free.
Yeah.
And the other thing is...
Well, go ahead. I'm just kind of laughing here, yeah.
The other thing, of course, is that it's nice to know somebody involved in rapping, the rap world, for when Christmas comes. I know my packaging will be taken care of.
Oh, there you go. Joe, I want to talk a little bit about what we're discussing here. I'm going to bring Freemason here back into the mix, but I want to weigh in a little bit with you since you're just joining in the conversation. With what we're seeing now with the House Republicans kind of pressing up against Joe Biden and Hunter Biden with charges. Former girlfriend just testified the other day, with Hunter Biden. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the serious side of this is, and you can already see it, Raskin and other morons on the left out there with the talking point. Well, the Trump thing, we had nothing to do with that. Those are state charges. Oh, come on. Is anybody dumb enough to buy that? The problem is they know their moron CNN and MSNBC Seals watchers are stupid enough to not grasp that Biden administration people have been in the courtroom at these state courts that are supposedly only state filings against Trump. It's a top-down coordinated banana republic effort. And this whole thing with Menendez in New Jersey, he's fallen out of favor with the Democrats because all of a sudden he's grown a conscience and is not voting 100% of the time with Chucky Schumer. So he's expendable.
Yeah.
They want to replace him. That's the only reason charges are filed against him. They want him gone so they can bring in an AOC type who is 100% lockstep in the Senate with Chucky Schumer. And the Biden Hunter thing, it's a joke. It's a joke. Does anybody not think a liberal activist jury isn't going to let him off? This is all a play just to say, see, we're not partisan. We charged the president's son. We play it fair. Oh, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, I see. It's a big political circus, Joe. I mean, you know, we had one testimonial from, you know, like I said, Hunter Biden's girlfriend, former. I want to see more people testifying. I want to see this is coming up onto the witness stand and explaining the testimony towards this. Let's really put them on the stand. Let's hold accountable because they need to be held accountable. Stop using political persecution against one person and bring it in the middle because Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, I mean, they go back a long, long time, the Biden crime family. That's what they are. They're a fucking Biden crime family. And I'll say that on the fucking record. They are. They need to be held accountable. Literally. I mean, bring in the China business dealings with Hunter Biden. We need to. We have to. If we don't, then, the justice system, like Donald Trump says over and over and over, is literally a rigged system. And you're seeing that. If you're going to literally put Donald Trump on the stand, okay, only, and not hold other people accountable, what is that saying for your own justice system in the United States? What is that saying for your FBI agencies? Yeah.
That's the dodge. The Hunter trial is nothing but see, Democrats are being charged too. Those cases are all jokes.
Anyways, we go there. He was freezing up, but Freemason, do you have anything in on there before we kind of close this out?
Yeah, well, I got to say kudos to Joe for being a modern day Henny Youngman with the one-liners, but I'm pumped, right? But no, he's right. It's a definite charade. It's a charade, if you will, and it'll be very interesting to see what happens. What's the October surprise, right? And my fear is that could be a military issue, which we discussed earlier. As far as the lawfare, the whole point is to put people through this pressure system where they're paying the penalty. And if it wasn't for the level of money that some of these people have, you're going to be crushing underneath that type of suppression from a federal government.
Absolutely. And, before we close it out, guys, I do want to encourage some of the listeners here on X to check out our amazing products that we have. Joseph M. Leonard here representing one of the pieces that we have on the website, savagearmy.com. That's right, guys. A true shotcaster. I consider myself, so does Joe. We consider ourselves more shotcasters than podcasters. We're not afraid to air it. We're not afraid to express it. We're not afraid to press the envelope and push back when necessary. And I love how more politicians are joining that. They're becoming literally shock politicians. I think we should develop that T-shirt now, Shaky. a shock politician, because you're seeing that out of Marjorie Taylor Greene. You're seeing that with other people, other colleagues of her, a small amount of it, right? I want to see more. I want to see more politicians pressing the envelope and pushing back. So I applaud Marjorie Taylor Greene there in Georgia, in the 14th district there up in Dalton, Georgia, for pushing the envelope, pushing back against some of these rhinos and literally presenting the argument of her own politicians, her own Republican Party not fighting back hard enough. Guys, we have to push back. I constantly say over and over and over, and I'm going to sound like a fucking broken record. If we don't push back, there's the cliff behind us, folks. We're going to be off the fucking cliff and we're going to be dead. Well, metaphorically, right? But you understand what I mean by that. Our nation is going to collapse and it's going to be a banana republic. If not yet, we're just about there. So, I mean, join our movement, join our army. Okay, get your T-shirt today and press back today to save our nation. It's now or never, really now or never. Freemason, I want to thank you for coming on the show, buddy. Now I understand why you wanted to come on the show, why you wanted to basically weigh in on the conversation, and I applaud your patriotism. Yeah, I absolutely. I applaud the hell out of you. I applaud your patriotism for being on the show today and expressing yourself freely and openly. And if anybody wants to know more about you, where can they find you at?
At Starforce Double H on everything. StarForceDoubleH.com for my management company. Majestic with a K LLC, Majestic Group LLC.com for construction management, and BigfootIsReal.net for all things music and EDM band. Bigfoot is Real. Check us out. I mean, we get 100,000, 200,000 video views every time we drop it. I just put out a Wyclef video about 2 weeks ago. So, come follow, come check us out. Dustin from Dustin Stockton from American Mission is co-managing with me. And we're looking to do big things, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sounds good. And thank you for being part of the show. Wow, great stuff. Guys, as I close up here, I do want to apologize. We had some connection issues with Joe and a little bit of Freemason, so I do apologize with that, kind of coming in and coming out. But I mean, great stuff. We need to push back, guys. We can't sound like that broken record. We need to get ourselves involved. We need to become delegates, like myself and countless of others. I understand schedules are difficult today. I understand, times are difficult today, but go to a couple of hearings. If you can't make it on a weekly basis, try to get there at least once or twice a month. Go to your city hall. Go to your council meetings. Go to meetings to voice out. We have to, guys. We have to save our nation. It's now or never. And I'm gonna close it out with that, guys.